Hi everyone, let's talk about Crisis at Steamfall, which I forgot to mention in the playthrough. It's from the designer of Assault on Doomrock, which was a fantastic cooperative fantasy RPG game from a couple of years ago, a really successful Kickstarter. And yeah, this is on Kickstarter right now, so you can go and click the link in the description and check out the campaign page and see all of the lovely final stuff. But Crisis at Steamfall, so it's really cool for a start that, a lot of games, not a lot, but a few great games get kind of cooperative games added later in expansions, and it's really nice to see the game in a different way. So it's really great to have this from the start in Crisis at Steamfall. Like, it is kind of, it's not full of take that, but it is very, it's very tensing. Like, you're trying to break these ciphers, you're trying to get around and take advantage of this alien technology as best you can, and there are ciphers that you can try and crack, and you are trying to, make sure that you can do it first, and if somebody can do it, hopefully you've got a card that can maybe move the ciphers around and all this. I much prefer it. While it's definitely much harder thing to try and consider, I like the cooperative game more, just because that's the kind of that's just the kind of way that we like to play. But As much as we haven't won this yet, we've tried 3 times, if you include the playthrough at the cooperative version, and we've come close, but just haven't managed to crack it yet, which is a good sign, isn't it, for a cooperative game? Just managing to get that core shard charged up is a challenge while you are trying to spin all of these plates, which again, it's a great thing in a co-op. You are trying to keep on top of the crisis events, which are going to make things worse and worse and worse for you, especially if they're going to make you lose serenity. Like, that was kind of the big thing in this. We managed to encounter enough civilians that put serenity back in that it wasn't as much of an issue. But yeah, the crisis events will either massively make you lose serenity, which can really accelerate the rate at which you lose the game, or they can make more and more mechanized come out that end up being a real nightmare for you, because not only do the mechanized slowly advance towards the city, and if they get there, start getting rid of serenity themselves based on how much health they've got, really, how many actions they've got left. But on the way, they can start, if they fight you, they can be taking charges away from you that can be vital to you actually getting things done on your turn. They can kill civilians, which will get rid of your serenity without them even having had to go to the central city. And they can be tough to kill, especially if they're taking charges from you and things. They can be even harder to kill, because my character, Jim and Beam, is kind of geared at the beginning more towards combat. But if you're a character that isn't as geared towards it, and you've only got one thing like Alice had, then if they start taking charges after you, it can be really, really hard. The secret locations are a really nice thing, where you don't quite know what you're going to get, but it can help towards trying to work out how you can achieve the goals of the crisis cards. I didn't manage. It was always just one crisis card that we were usually an action short for. But yeah, I was really close to getting it worked out with the combination of items that I've managed to get out, and that's a big strength of the game, that you can try and work out the actions that I've got. Maybe I can get lucky by getting some relic cards or some of the workshop cards to hopefully work together, or maybe I can get some add-ons or power-ups where it will give me a different way of powering up my weapon rather than the standard action, which might be hard to get. It might not be in the right columns. But I should have mentioned that further. The way that you enhance your character is a really nice touch in this. It's going to be different as always. This is a prototype for a Kickstarter, so it's going to be different. It's going to be kind of jigsaw things that will fit together better than the prototype is. But the concept of starting off with these kind of sets, one set column, quite set column, and one that's just started off, and then you get to enhance these. Do you give yourself a lot of variety by spreading the actions out among different columns, because some you're not going to activate more than once in a round, or do you go for a really, really powerful action and then have to lay off for your others? I really, really like that. And the mood feature as well, where you are trying to keep your characters really, really happy or really, really angry, to be able to gradually use those tokens as store up, so I could unleash a big attack by trying to save my my anger as best that I could. I definitely say I think it's a strength that it is a complicated thing. Not complicated, but it's tough And yeah, you definitely want to be, you want to get used to the game in the competitive version first. It's got a lot of humour that was a big feature of Assault on Doomrock as well, and I'd say it's definitely it's a completely different game. But yeah, it's easier to get to grips with. But as I said, it's worth playing that competitive version first. It's got variety. You know, the decks are quite big, even when you have adjusted based on the mode that you're playing, because some cards aren't compatible with the competitive or cooperative mode. It's got a lot of variety, quite big decks. You've got different locations that will come out in different, you know, orientations, differing the amount of movement it'll take to get to certain things or where certain abilities are. You know, there were more tiles than this in the game to use to shake things up a bit. And yeah, oh, the encounter thing, I really like that for the cooperative game, where these cards are kind of adding a bit of a random element to it, but a really nice one where you're not quite sure of what hits you're going to do, but usually it's balanced out. You might do 2 hits and nothing else, or you might do 1 hit and get some scrap, or maybe you'll get some serenity when you encounter civilians and things. It's not just a done thing that you're going to, you know, that you may hit or you might not. You usually get something else that you can use, and if you can get a variety of keywords out in your equipment, that can be a strength as well. That can give you an extra ability, although you're not going to know what that is until you draw the card. But I thought it was worth mentioning. I really like that little system as well, where it's just 1 deck of cards, and depending on what you're doing, it kind of gives you the resolution for that thing in one nice little deck. But anyway, I think I've been going on for ages. I'm at danger of repeating myself. The campaign page is there, so you can take a look at that. The playthrough is there, so hopefully that'll give you an idea of whether it would be a game for you. But thanks very much for watching, everyone, and I'll see you for the next game. Bye!